see the rising sign in a small measure. This indicates the life goal for that particular life cycle, or else over a period of 7 lives. The last 2 constitute the greater zodiac. 3. Disciples and initiates can begin consciously to respond to all the above influences, handling them constructively, plus those potent yet infinitely subtle forces which pour into our solar system from the 3 major constellations referred to above. In the early stages, the response is in the subtler bodies, and the brain fails to register them, but after the 3rd initiation, there is a recognition of them upon the physical plane. Bringing the theme back to the subject of this treatise, which is that of the 7 rays, I would point out that these rays have a close connection with the 7 stars of the Great Bear, again always the 4 and the 3 as a secondary differentiation, and to the 7 sisters, the Pleiades. The first constellation is the agent of positive force to the planetary logos, and the other the relayer of the negative aspect. There is, therefore, a direct interchange of energies between the lives of the 7 planetary logi and the stupendous and unfathomable lives who inform these major constellations. Great interlocking triangles of force can be found existing between the 7 planets, and these 2 groups of 7 stars each. It will eventually be discovered that the innermost secret of astrological deduction in the planetary sense is connected with these sacred triangles, and they are in their turn represented by the triangles, shifting and changing, which can be constructed in connection with the 7 centers. In casting the horoscope of the planet, which will someday be possible, it will be found that the line of these forces and of our planetary response to them is of a more potent effect than is the influence of the zodiacal constellations upon the human unit. This is due to the immeasurably advanced point in evolution of the planetary spirits who have, in their individual lives, largely transcended the influence of the 12 constellations, and are becoming rapidly responsive to the higher vibrations of their great prototypes, the 3 intimate constellations, as they have esoterically been called. This is a correspondence in the lives of these great entities to the manner in which an advanced individual can offset the influence of the planets, and thus so dominate his personality life that prediction and certainty, as to activity and circumstance, are no longer possible. The soul is dominating, and the planets cease to condition the life. So it is with the constellations, and the planetary logi. They can offset the lower influences, as they awaken to, and respond to the infinitely higher vibrations of the 3 major constellations. 2. The creative hierarchies. It might here be appropriate if I interpolated a chart, or a tabulation which may be found suggestive of some of these interlocking energies which play through, traverse, return, stimulate and energize every part of our solar system. They only evoke conscious response where the vehicle of expression and of response is adequate to the impact, and this statement is true of the solar logos, the planetary logi, and of all forms in all the kingdoms upon our planet. Unconscious reaction will of course exist, but it will be on a general or mass scale, and much of it pours through to us from these distant constellations, via the 5th creative hierarchy. This hierarchy, being on the verge of liberation, is to be found on the intellectual level of consciousness, and can, therefore, be used as a focal point and a transmitter of the higher energies to our solar system and to the planet. If you make a careful study of the chart of the 12 creative hierarchies, page 34, you will note that this hierarchy is influencing, and is influenced by, the 7th ray of magical order and of ceremonial organization. The basic function of this ray is to relate spirit and matter and produce the manifested form. The sign of the zodiac with which it is closely connected is that of Cancer, the crab, which is a mass sign, and one of the gates into manifested life. The following information and the hierarchies may prove useful. It has been gathered from various sources. I might here remind you that the 7 planes of our solar system are the 7 subplanes of the cosmic physical plane. The 4 creative hierarchies which have achieved liberation are now to be found focused upon the cosmic astral plane. Hence their potency even when out of manifestation. The 5th creative hierarchy exists on the highest etheric level, and will join the other 4 hierarchies when the 6th creative hierarchy has measured up to cosmic opportunity, and is itself nearing liberation. The following is a tabulation showing some of the astrological relationships in connection with 1. The constellation of the Great Bear. 2. The Pleiades or the 7 Sisters. 3. Sirius. 4. The 7 solar systems. Tabulations I and II the 7 creative hierarchies in active planetary expression 1. The hierarchy of creative powers is divided esoterically into 7, 4 and 3, within the 12 great orders. 2. 3 hierarchies are in this greater cycle of profound significance, the 4th or human creative hierarchy, and the 2 Deva hierarchies, the 5th and the 6th. 3. The 4th creative hierarchy is in reality the 9th, and that is why it is called the hierarchy of initiates. This can be seen by referring to the chart. 4. We are told in a treatise on cosmic fire that in the 9th, 10th and 11th hierarchies, counting from the bottom upwards, lies the clue to the nature of Agni, the Lord of Fire, the sum total of systemic vitality. 5. Much light can come to the earnest student through a study of the numbers connected with these hierarchies. A. The first 5 are regarded as pure abstractions. B. Hierarchy 1 has the numbers 6.1.7. Hierarchy 2 has the numbers 7.2.6. Hierarchy 3 has the numbers 8.3.5. Hierarchy 4 has the numbers 9.4.4. Hierarchy 5 has the numbers 10.5.3. Hierarchy 6 has the numbers 11.6.2. Hierarchy 7 has the numbers 12.7.1. It is necessary to take note of this, as in the secret doctrine reference will be found to the hierarchies under different numbers. This serves to conceal, but it will also confuse the student. 6. The first 4 hierarchies achieved liberation in the first solar system. Their influence reached our Earth through the medium of the 5th creative hierarchy. 7. These are, therefore, related to the 4 rays which work as minor rays of attribute under the great major 3rd ray of active intelligence. 8. Pisces is seen at the head of the list of zodiacal signs, because it is governing the present great astrological world cycle of 25,000 years. It was also one of the dominant signs, influencing our planet at the time of individualization when the human kingdom came into being. It is basically related to the first or highest creative hierarchy, which is, in its turn, related to the 3rd ray of active intelligence. It was the product of the first solar system. The development of illumination through an awakened intelligence is the first goal of humanity. 9. The 5th creative hierarchy, also numbered 8, is on the verge of liberation. It is peculiarly connected with the 10th creative hierarchy, with the constellation Capricorn, and with the human personality which veils and temporarily hides the Christ principle behind both form and mind. 8 is, under some numerical systems, regarded as the number of the Christ. 10. The greater builders and the lesser builders, working on the 2nd and 3rd planes of our solar system, have their activities reflected in the work of the lunar lords and the elemental lives. 11. You will note that the human hierarchy, on chart 9IV4, is assigned no particular element, as it has to fuse and synthesize them all. This is part of the great tests of initiation under Scorpio. 12. This chart is drawn up in relation only to the fourth creative hierarchy, the human. It is not drawn in relation to the other planetary manifestations. The chart has been compiled from the very limited stock of knowledge that has thus far been revealed on the subject, and it is as correct as possible under the circumstances. Each of the 7 hierarchies of beings, found within the 12, who are the builders, or the attractive agents are, in their degree, intermediaries. All embody one of the types of force, emanating from the 7 constellations. Their intermediary work, therefore, is dual. 1. They are the mediators between spirit and matter. 2. They are the transmitters of force from sources extraneous to the solar system to forms within the solar system. Each of these groups of beings is likewise septenary in nature, and the 49 fires of Brahma are the lowest manifestation of their fiery nature. Each group also may be regarded as fallen, in the cosmic sense, because involved in the building process, or the occupiers of forms of some degree of density or another. Hierarchy I. The first great hierarchy is emanated from the heart of the central spiritual Sunday. It is the Son of God Himself, the firstborn in the cosmic sense, even as the Christ was the eldest in a vast family of brothers, and the first flower on the human plant. The symbol of this hierarchy is the golden lotus with its 12 petals folded. The Secret Doctrine I 233-250. II 565. It should be remembered that this hierarchy is literally the 6th, for 5 hierarchies have passed on, being the product of the earlier system, that when intelligence or manas was the goal. The 5 liberated hierarchies are in their totality the sum total of manas. It is the hierarchy which is the 5th in order, and which we are told is in process of achieving final liberation, or taking its 4th initiation, which is the cause of certain phenomena upon our planet which has merited our planet being called the star of suffering. There is a karmic link between the animal kingdom and the 5th creative hierarchy of the earlier system, which makes itself felt in man in the necessary crucifixion of the animal physical nature, particularly along sex lines. We must remember that the hierarchies work under the law of attraction. It is the law of the builders. This first, 6th, hierarchy has for its type of energy the first aspect of the 6th type of cosmic electricity, and wields special power, therefore, in conjunction with the lowest fire, or fire by friction, as it makes itself felt on the 6th plane. These lives are called the burning suns of desire, and were the suns of necessity. It is said of them in the old commentary. They burned to know. They rushed into the spheres. They are the longing of the father for the mother. Hence do they suffer, burn, and long through the 6th sphere of sense. Hierarchy II. The second hierarchy is closely allied with the Great Bear. We are told that they enter through the 2nd ventricle within the Sacred Heart, and are, as we are told in the Secret Doctrine, the prototypes of the monads. They are the source of monadic life, but they are not the monads. They are far higher. This hierarchy, which is literally the 7th, is the influx into our system of those lives